Just wanted to take a moment to come to you and to give you the word that God has dropped into my spirit this morning. As I'm sitting here, I'm literally sitting in a parking lot, just taking in what God is saying right now. I felt an urgency to pull over and give you what God has said. And so, what God had shared this morning was stay the course. Stay the course, and stay the course means to continue going, continue fighting and battling, even though there are obstacles, even though there is criticism, even though there are things that we are enduring right now in this season that we may not understand, that we may not really have a grasp over all of the things that could be going on in our lives and is going on in our lives, versus the battle that God is fighting behind closed doors for us, the one that we don't see, that God is staying the death angel off of our own lives, as he is gathering his army of saints in this lifetime for us. But stay the course. It has been such a difficult season in the life of the believer. Not because churches are closed, not because we cannot worship, but because we love the fellowship of it. And the fellowship is what energizes us. The fellowship is what encourages us to continue to stay the course. And so even though we are not meeting physically, we are not having church physically this morning, I want you to hear stay the course. Even as a pastor, I know that I get discouraged. Even as a pastor who loves her congregation, who misses them, who wants to worship, I'm going to stay the course. This is not a season to lose heart in the middle of the battle or retreat. This is a time for us to march forward. This is a time for us to proclaim his word like never before. It is a time for us to continue to finish. Acts 20 and 24, I believe you can fact check me, but Acts 20 and 24 says that it's not that my life is that valuable or is of value, but that if I don't finish the course, I have to stay the course. I have to finish what the assignment is and the ministry of sharing God's grace and salvation. And I know that's not an exact quote for you theologians out there and you Bible scholars, but what I'm saying to you is this: it's not that my life is valuable. And indeed, Paul said this, is that to die is gain, but I'm going to stay because I still have work to do for you. I still have grace to show you. I still have love and ministry inside of me. So I'll stay the course, but I want you to stay the course too. And as a pastor, it is entirely discouraging for you not to be able to see your congregation and see why you continue to strive the way you strive, to see the growth in your lives. But I want you to know that God is saying, stay the course. That even though it is difficult, even though it is hard, even though you all cannot see where God is taking you right now in this very moment, in the midst of all of the things that you are experiencing, in the midst of all of the things that you have had to go through in this very season, I want you to stay the course. As you continue to stay the course, it is going to be entirely difficult because the course is not set out for you to run a straight line. It is set with obstacles. Remember, we don't run the race to get to the finish line so much as we run the race to gain the endurance and the steadfastness so that when we get to the finish line, we find the reward. But we run, we practice. This course is not going to be easy. I want you to stay the course. And this course, this race that we're running, this now season of cross country, if you will, has its own set of challenges. It has its own set of obstacles. There will be deaths. There will be struggles, financial, physical, mental, emotional, but I want you to stay the course. I felt it imperative this morning, and literally as I'm sitting here in the car and I had to gain my composure to get this message out to you, that I want you to hear me today. That there is a lot going on in your life, and I acknowledge that there's a lot that even I don't know about. There's a lot going on in your life right now that I may not hear about, but that you haven't shared. But that this is a time for you to stay the course. It is not a time for us to get distracted. It is not a time for us to get discouraged. This is not a time for us to decide that we're going to sit down, but this is a time for us to stand up. We are standing up for the kingdom. We are standing up for our loved ones. We are standing up for those whom are gone already. We are standing up because there's still a race to run. There is still a course to complete. There are still lives that need to be saved. There is still a change that needs to happen. So we will stay the course as we continue to run the race that God has set before us. I am reminded of the scripture, Romans 8:28, and all of you know it, that, what does it say? What does it say? I want y'all to stop for a moment. Remind yourself before I say it. I want you to say it. All things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. That all of this, all things, we can't quantify or qualify the all. We cannot quantify or qualify the all. All things work together for the good of those that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose. So if God called you to it in this season, that there is definitely something that you need to be working on, something you need to be learning, because all things work together. The life, the death, the financial struggles, the hardship, the heartache, the heartbreak. There is something that you need to accomplish, something you need to learn, somebody you need to grab a hold of so that all things can work together. I need you to hear me today. God said to me as I was sitting here and I was praying, and I was literally driving, and I was praying and I was talking to God, and the song came on the radio. God is doing a great work. There is a great work that we have to do. God is doing a great work. I want y'all to understand it don't look like it right now. It don't feel like it right now. That God is doing a great work in you, through you, with you. It says, he that began a great work in you is faithful to perform it. God is faithful. And if God is faithful, hear me now. If God is faithful and all things work together for the good of them that love the Lord and are called according to his purpose, then it's not that my life is so valuable, but that I finish the course, the ministry, the purpose. So stay the course. Run the race that's set before you. Only God knows in this season what the outcome is going to be. But I want you to be encouraged to stay the course. This wasn't meant to be some great exegetical movement of the text. This was me sitting in my car weeping and hearing God's voice tell me, stay the course. Tell them to stay the course. Tell them to stay the course.